Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let me start by saying I love you, I respect you, and if I need to, I will protect you. That is, of course, unless you are a hedge fund that is currently short on AMC stock. I'm talking to you, Citadel. I'm talking to you, Robinhood. So, we're going to start today, my very first episode of this, with a new friend that I've made on Twitter. I want to be very careful not to divulge too much information, but this is my friend. Good dude. So I'm going to call him up right now and let's just get started.
Hey, John.
Hey, buddy. How are you, sir?
Good, good. How are you?
Fantastic. I am recording as we speak and thought we'd just kind of get things kicked off here and see what happens. So,
Let's do it.
good to have you here. So, I just wanted
Yes,
to
sir.
start by saying, hello to my fellow ape. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I was gonna let my new friend here explain it to you.
Yeah, well, what I understood from it is I grew in the community. At first, I'm like, what, an ape? What's going on? I actually don't know the full background, to be honest with you, like how deep it goes. I know off of Reddit, they started calling themselves the apes, especially with the whole GME movement that started to increase in AMC. And, that name started developing and everyone just started calling themselves an ape. Um, John, you might know a little bit more deeper, like who actually created it. I just know it came off of Reddit. And I
Honestly,
said, you know
I
what? I
have
like this.
no
So,
idea, and I don't care. I just know that I am one now.
right? Right? That's kind of how I was. I just kind of absorbed it and said, okay, I'm with it. I'm down. I'm with the movement. I'm an ape. I'm an ape Marine.
There you go. Well, I'm an ape. I don't know what I am. So, um, my idea today was really just to give a little bit of minor education to people who might not know anything about this, and hopefully recruit a couple of more apes into the community. So, starting at the beginning, I'm just going to tell you, those of you who are not familiar with what's happening with AMC stock right now, in particular, GME as well, but uh, the beginning of this was hedge funds aggressively pursuing companies that were appeared to probably be on their way out, based on what was happening with the COVID pandemic at the time. Um, and a number of hedge funds, primarily Citadel being the biggest one of them, has been taking out short positions on companies that they expected would fail as a result of COVID. AMC being one of those logically at the time, because if theaters were never going to be open again, then yeah, they were probably not going to continue to exist. The problem was is a number of very smart people looked at a lot of these really large short positions and said, "We don't like what you're doing right now. You're actually contributing to these companies failing. Their ultimate doom. We don't like that very much. So we're going to buy all of the open shares that are available right now, so that when the time comes, the share price dramatically increases, which makes those companies more healthy, more solvent. And by the way, since you're generating shares on your own, you're generating stock out of nowhere that doesn't even exist. When you need to return those shares that you borrowed, you're going to buy them from us at whatever price we set. So here we are on the verge of AMC doing, I think, significantly even better than the GME squeeze that happened, the baby squeeze, frankly, that happened back here in January that everybody was so excited about. So here we are. It is May 16th, 2021. And based on all the information that we're all seeing, we for sure have something on the horizon, in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not smart enough. But so,
Well, yeah, John. there's no doubt in that. I mean, if you just I'm just a Marine, right? I mean, you're originally a sales-minded person. I'm a sales-minded person, and
For sure.
like we both can look through stuff. Like we can look at, is this fake? Is this like a way to take people's money? And skeptic. That's the word I was looking for. I got to be honest. I was a skeptic. I was a
Hmm.
skeptic for a little while. I didn't jump in right when it all happened. I was a skeptic. I stood back and I'm like, okay, how legit is this? Is this made up? Is this a bunch of millennials? I was one of those skeptics at first. And I have a buddy of mine that I trained, another sales guy, that I got into stocks with me. And we were doing stocks together. And he says, man, I'm really liking this, what's happening with AMC and, what just happened with GME. And I just started looking and I said, oh, what the hell? And I just started dumping everything I had and started throwing it in AMC. And I did it at the right time, because as soon as I did, a lot of the other stocks I had started just dropping in price. And it was like perfect timing. But I got to say, I was a skeptic, but it's real, man. There's something really going on.
I
There's no doubt about that.
Well, I agree, and I think that part of what's going on right now is the community, and what's driving up a lot of the attention to this stock is the fact that there are so many people. According to Adam Aaron, 3.2 million of us, as of March, retail investors that own significant portions, a huge percentage of AMC's total shares. So,
Yeah,
with
they're
that
saying
said,
they're saying something like 90% or so, 80, 88, 80+%. I mean, it's just insane.
well, and the trick with that is you look at the trading volume on Thursday and Friday, and we're talking about 300 million shares, almost 300 million shares on Thursday, and I don't remember exactly what the volume was on Friday, but I think it was approaching 200 million. Uh, Technically, there's only supposed to be 450 million shares of AMC stock. So, with
Right.
this community of individuals that are just holding and holding and they're hodling, as the case may be, you know, it's interesting that so much unbelievable amount of volume of trades can be going back and forth, uh, given that everybody's holding on for dear life. It just doesn't make sense. So the
Well, I did that.
indication.
Did you
Go
see
ahead.
that? Oh, I was
I
gonna say, did you see that survey I did?
I did
So
not.
I was real curious. Yeah, so I ran a survey, man. I made a YouTube video on it, and I ran a survey on Twitter for a week just to kind of see. And basically, it was just a scale. Like if you own 1 through 500 shares, it was a vote. You know how they do the voting.
Yep.
1 through 500 shares. Uh, was it 500 to 1,000? 1,000 to 5,000, and then over 5,000. And I was running the math in my YouTube video. I'm like, this is freaking nuts. If you look at the 30+% of people in the first category, so 30+% of that 1,000 was 974 people, but 30% plus, I think it was like 32%, owned anywhere from 0 to 500.
Right.
So even if you take the 500 shares at 30+%, use the 1,000 factor, like they do in politics. I don't want to speak politics, but like they do to get an idea, right?
Yep.
Well, at 3.2 million people, man, that was 512 million shares, and that was
Right.
on the first level. Now, if you take the 10%, at the last level I had on the survey, it showed that 10% of people owned 5,000 or more. I own almost 5,000. I'm getting close to it. So if I can own 5,000, damn it, I believe there's plenty of people can. Well, based on that 10% math, that could be 300,000 plus people that own over 5,000 shares. Right there, you do the math. Just that alone, take that with the first level, 512,000. That's 1.6. That's 2 billion. Come on,
Yeah,
John. How the hell is there 2 billion?
and let's just forget about the institutional investors that are out there that own
Oh yeah,
enormous amounts of enormous numbers of shares. So here we sit,
right.
May 16th, 2021, with 450 million available shares at all. Retail owning probably more than 100% of that. Institutional investors probably owning another 50 to 60% of that. And where are all these other shares that are being shorted? And that's the question, right? Where are the shares? Uh, in other naked shorts, they have literally open positions with air, and they legally are going to have to return these shares at some point. So
And
I'm
if I
really
understand
excited.
that, John, speak on that for a second. So if I understand that, so naked shorts, like that was where I was a skeptic. I'm like, okay, we got this institute, we got these institutions, we got these investors, all this stuff. How is it possible for them to create this? What is a naked short? And like synthetic, we hear this term being bounced around about synthetic shares. It's like, what is that? Is that even possible? Like, how do you do that? And so when I was running that survey and running those numbers, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's possible. I mean, I've watched some of the videos on it. I'm like, yep, they've been getting away with this for a long time. Basically, they borrow this share, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They borrow a share, they sell that share, then it gets borrowed again and borrowed again and borrowed again, gets sold again and again. And, like
Over and over
next
and
thing you
over and
know,
over
we've got
again.
what we got going on now.
Yeah,
It's like, how long has this been going on, John?
what we've
Like,
got is hedge funds, what appears to be them selling shares back and forth in what they refer to as a ladder attack, to drive the stock price down. The problem is they're running out of shares that they could mess with. They've got the SEC breathing down their neck now about these synthetic shares that are being created, and they are now in a position. And I think that was in addition to the 47 million shares that Adam Aaron put out on the open market for capital gain, right? For raising capital. Um,
right.
the dilution coming off of the table, and you pair that up with these people starting to cover, having to start to cover, and the stock price, you see just over the course of the past few days has gone up. What is it now? 35-40%. So
Right.
inevitably there's going to come a point in the very near future where these institutions that have been lending these shares out are going to look at the potential, bank account infusion that they could be having if they were to sell these shares, and say, I think I want my shares back, and that's when the margin call goes down. And I think that Trey's been talking about it for a little while. Matt Kors has been talking about it for a little while. But, they think that magic number is 1450, 1451, somewhere on that note. And when that happens, that's when things are really going to start going berserk. And
Well, yeah, now we're talking about what everybody's saying with the, what are they calling it, the mother of all squeezes. Makes me think of, I was in the Marine Corps, so it makes me think of the big bomb,
the
right?
Moab, the mother
Yeah.
of all
I'm like,
bombs.
yeah, I'm like, okay, well, if we're gonna be putting off a mother of all bombs, I got to be a part of this, right? Like, I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of this? I'd rather be the one on the other side, not getting bombed. That's all I got to say, right? So, I mean, this is like, if they've been doing it with AMC, they're doing it with GME, and there was a few others, BlackBerry and some others ones that people are into, and
Yeah.
SOS or something.
Yep.
They've been doing it with those. How many more are there really, and how deep does this run? I mean, you got to ask yourself, like, I mean, this is, to me, it gets my blood excited, and it gets me scared like a little boy on one hand, and like excited on the other, like, okay, yeah, we're about to do something insane. But you know what? They got themselves into it, right, John?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is we have reached the point in our existence where retail investors have all of the tools available to us, as a community, to compete with hedge funds, and that's got to be the scariest thing in the world for guys like Ken Griffin, right? For anybody that's taking
Oh
out
yeah.
massive short positions on frankly American institutions like AMC theaters. They've got to be looking around saying, the way that we've done business is just not going to work anymore. And
Nope.
frankly, I think when all of this is said and done, I don't know that Citadel continues to exist, at least in its current form. I don't think they're going to be able to
I
afford
don't
to
see how.
exist in their current form. In fact, I think that there's going to be a lot of. I think that the DTCC insurance is going to be the only thing that makes sure that we all get paid in this process. So
Well, they're going to have to. I mean, we got too many people. I mean, there's 3.2 million people, which, by the way, you talk about changing
it's more than
everything
that.
for them, changing the, like, well, yeah, it's more than that. I mean, it's got to be. It's by far got to be more than that. But, like, you got all these retail investors. Robinhood came out with this free app. Now everyone's doing it. I've got a couple different apps. I don't have Robinhood anymore. I got out of that, and most people are. But anyway, like, who would have expected? Think about this. Now, being a sales guy, all of a sudden my whole world just changed because there's this whole new sales process just came out of nowhere. But these investors have been doing this their entire life. They got trained, they sat down, they learned how to do it. They've been making buku monies. We've seen TV shows and movies about this stuff. And like the investors and the hedge funds and all this stuff, right? Wall Street. Let's just call it Wall Street, right? You got this Wall Street process. I like to look at it as Wall Street and retail, right? Well, then you got this retail. You got folks like me, you, and all the apes out there, and everyday folks that finally are like, "Hey, man, I want to control my destiny. I'm going to take my $50 I've got, and I'm going to buy this stock, right? And I can do it. Oh, look at the growth I'm getting." And that's what got me back in 2018. I was like, "Man, I can control my destiny, and I can start doing this." Well, John? Let me ask you, who expected all of these apes and all of us folks to band together like we have? Who expected? I mean, has there ever been 3.2 million plus people ever own one company?
No,
That's something I'd like to know.
I don't think so. But and I think that's the changing of the guard, right? I mean, the purpose of the stock market, is for people to be able to go and intelligently invest in a company that they think is going to succeed, right? The purpose of the stock market was definitely never designed for, hedge funds and folks that are out to destroy companies to make money on the ultimate demise of those companies. So I think what we see now is there's
don't mind my farm.
Yo, you're good, brother.
Yeah, sorry, I would say don't mind my farm. Everybody knows me on Twitter. I'm the Marine, so I've got goats, and I got these guinea hens and chickens, and the guineas just started going crazy on me, so I'm trying to get away from them.
It was barely audible on my side, but we'll see how it turns out on the video. But but yeah, I think we've reached a point in our existence where retail investors are going to be the dominant force in the trading world, as opposed to the big white collar guys, because I think a few of them are going to jail momentarily. Once they actually do this share count, I got one hair that's like sticking straight up the top of my head, and it is so visible on this video right now. It's hilarious. But
and I can't see it, so I can't laugh at you.
There you go. You can watch it later and comment about it. But
there you go.
So I think we're reaching this point in American existence where the stock market is going to regulate back to what it's supposed to be, which is an opportunity for American investors to invest in companies that they expect to succeed. And this opportunity and the regulations that are coming, that are forthcoming, for how the shorting process works, are going to make AMC, in my opinion, the last major short squeeze that there will ever be, because I don't think that there will be an opportunity for it to happen again. So it's one of the reasons that I'm here. I see it. The movie that they're going to make about this is going to be absolutely ridiculous. One of the things that you and I both commented about when we were talking earlier is that we're not financial advisors. We're not extremely wealthy people. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I've got a bare minimum of intelligence at least, but at the end of the day, it's what this community does as a team that is going to that is making this happen as we speak. So everybody who's been poking fun at me, everybody who's been poking fun at my friend Mike here, everybody who's been after us because of how ridiculous you thought this was, look at what has happened to AMC stock in the last 4 days. Go ahead and tell me that we were absolutely crazy.
Usually it's the ones that are absolutely crazy, John. You and I both know it's actually the ones that are absolutely crazy that turn out to be the ones that are absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah. Well, and all I have to say is,
excuse for being crazy.
Frankly, I've been buying shares of stock for family members that have called me ridiculous, and I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to cashing in their stocks for them and handing it to them, and saying,
right?
Yeah, I wish you would have listened, because this is all you get now.
So quick story of that. You just made me think, John. So my wife says the other day I was trying to talk to her. She doesn't know a bunch about it. She knows I'm doing it, but She doesn't know a lot about it. She doesn't know how deep I'm in the community and stuff. But the other night I was at dinner and I was trying to tell her about, babe, I've been preparing you for me retiring. Things are going to be changing soon. She's like, I don't want to hear about this AMC stuff, right? And she gave me crap. And I said, no, I want you to understand. I'm going to buy the land across the street. I'm going to do this. I don't want to hear it. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then later that night, I'm sitting on the couch and she comes out all happy with a smile. She's like, kids are in bed. She goes, so babe, back to this AMC thing. How much are we talking? And I said, 3 mil plus. I mean, without hesitating, John, I'm just like 3 mil plus, and her eyes lit up. And she's like, you serious? I said, well, the way it's looking and the way people are talking, that's like the bottom possibility. Like,
Right.
I'm at this point, babe. And she's like, well, how much you in? I said, all of it. She goes, all of it? I said, yeah, I took pretty much, I got every dime I've been putting into investing is now in AMC. And I got a few in GME. I said, but I got it all in AMC, babe. And I said, that's just the bottom. I said, people are talking, this is, babe, just understand something. They're talking about this being so insane that me and you could be looking at 450 million. And she looks at me, she goes, you mean like 450 times 1 million? Like if you had like $1 million, you do that by 450 times? I said, yeah, more than you'd ever spend or me would spend. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, then you could buy your family houses and stuff. I said, no. Yeah, I'd be enabling them. They know they can get it too if they want. And if they want to get on board, I put it out there on Facebook that there's something going on. I'm not telling people to buy nothing. I'm not a financial investor, but I'm telling you, open your damn eyes. You might want to take a look at something.
Right.
And guess what, John? Two of my family members, my brother and my niece, had both gone in just recently and are like, all right, something's going on. We don't know what we're doing, but I want to get some too. And now I have a third brother-in-law that's reaching out, wanting to find out. So I'm like, there you go, babe.
Right.
I'd rather see them invest in themselves than me buy them a damn house.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to tell you this, man. I hesitated for a minute, to really talk to my wife about this thing because I was frankly buried in due diligence and paying attention to what everybody was saying. Then what's interesting is I didn't see a whole lot of negative information flowing back that actually made any sense, right? What I saw were
Oh, yeah.
a lot of these fake bear, you know, this is going down, but no real information attached to that aside from silliness like technical information, right? And I don't want to say technical information is silliness, but the idea that this army of nut job apes that we have out here are buying and holding this stock based on technicals. That's not what we're holding this stock for. We're holding the stock based on the institutional investors that are out there that are violently shorting the stock. So
Right. I
we're
don't,
violently buying it so that we can violently make the price go up. So, I looked at my wife one day and I told her I had a lot of money in AMC stock. And she says, well, how much is a lot of money? And I said, a lot. I make a pretty good living. I'm pretty good at my job. So she says, all right, let me look into it. And then it's kind of the same thing. She kind of comes to me and she says, buy more, keep buying more. And, my 13-year-old comes to me the other day and he says, or a couple weeks ago, he says, so Dad, what are you doing? You're so excited all the time. It's awesome. What are you doing? And I explained it to him, and he says, "I don't." And first thing he told me was, "I don't think it's going to do what you said it was going to do. It just seems unrealistic." And I said, "That's good. You should probably keep that kind of skepticism in your brain. I'm proud of you for that. But let me help you explain it." And I kind of sat him down and walked him through some of the things that have been happening and that this community's been working on for quite a long time. And at the end of that conversation, he says, "How do I buy some?" And
exactly. Well,
so my
go ahead. Sorry.
13-year-old now owns like 15 shares of stock that he bought with his money that he's been saving up, and I'm good with it. And I even told him,
Awesome.
if it turns out that I'm wrong, which I'm not, I'll cover it. Right? And he says,
Bingo.
"Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're cool." So the one thing that I've had to do with my 13-year-old is constantly remind him to stop spending the money that he hasn't gotten yet. But it's been fun watching
Right.
him get excited and watching him get a little bit of a financial education by doing diligence. He keeps coming to me with new stocks now, saying, "What do you think about this? Help me understand what's going on with this." I've been watching videos about, how do I get my Series 7? If you don't know what a Series 7 is, folks, that's the license that you need in order to trade stocks on Wall Street, basically. Not just on Wall Street, but to become a stockbroker. So that I have my kid learning and interested in this stuff. it makes me happy. It makes me proud. He's such a good kid. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic, John. That is awesome to hear. Yeah, that's what I need to do with my 16-year-old. She's working now, so I already told her I was going to download an app for her because I can get her signed up with the what do you call it, the Roth or whatever for the kids.
Yeah.
Now that she's 16, earning an income. Yeah, I got to do more of that, man. That's awesome, John. But that makes me think too. So when I talk to a few folks, I'm like, okay, so for me, being a skeptic, here's what I told myself. I'm like, okay, we're talking about movie theaters. AMC's been around 100 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. We've had COVID. It's still alive. Sounds like bankrupt. This was back then, not right now, but this was back then.
Right.
Looks like bankruptcy's off the table. The stock's under $7. I think I got in at $7 or $8 or whatever it was. I'm like, how is it not worth 10? Or let me back up. Once it starts opening up, I mean, God, it's got to be worth at least a $20 stock. I mean, it wasn't a couple of years ago. It was a $30 stock.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a company that hit in 2019. They hit their biggest amount of volume was $11.9 billion in ticket sales or revenue or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, COVID came out of nowhere and killed all kinds of stuff. All right. It didn't just kill the movie theaters. It's coming back. So if I dump into it now, go ahead and jump in it, not knowing what I'm doing, and grab it up while I can, while my other stocks are losing at under $10 a share. If it doubles, dude, I doubled my money. I mean, what idiot wouldn't do that, right? I mean, that's what I was telling myself, John. And I'm like, okay, so it's worth 20, gets back up to 30, I triple money. It's a savings account. And then as I dug deeper and really started getting to know the ape community, I'm like, shoot, this is more than a savings account. This is retirement. And then that's when I really started to dump all the rest of everything I had. And then I've been, that I could afford to do, because I'm like, it's at what, 12 something, almost, it went up to 14, but like, I'm still going to keep buying it because it's a $30 stock without the squeeze.
It's at 12. It's at $12.98 right now. After hours, I think it finished at $12.80 or something like that. But
something like that, yeah.
But
so anyway, that's just how I felt about it. And that's how I try to tell people, like, why would you not? I mean, you got the extra money, you put it aside, and if it squeezes and it goes up really big, like everybody says it will, and I feel like it's going to, that's why I'm in it. Why wouldn't you? So that's what kept me from being a skeptic.
I buy a couple of shares of AMC stock every day, right? And I've done it intentionally, and I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong. Like I said, I'm not that smart, but I buy a couple of shares every day because I just want the market to know we're still buying it. We're still buying it. You can short it all day. You can ladder attack it all day. You can do whatever you want all day long, and we're still buying it, right? And I think I what I'm trying to do is signal that the buying pressure's still there. So don't think we're backing out of this thing, because we're not. We're not going anywhere.
No.
Like these planes that they're flying all over the place. The one that the plane that they flew over Centerville. What did it say? AMC, we're not leaving.
Yeah, come on, man. What a big giant middle finger flying in the sky, right?
I mean, just the coolest thing in the world.
I actually had a guy I know that was there videoing it. So I have a guy on Twitter I know personally that was out there videoing it. So that's just freaking awesome.
It's so awesome. But man, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a picture of you with your family, and we've got some things in common for sure. We're we're both apes for sure. But
that's right. Ape daddies.
I'm kind of hearing.
There's one thing.
Go ahead.
Was something I wanted to make sure we get out there on this. It's just been a big thing for me, and I don't know. I've been posting a lot. Maybe people will think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. But when I also ran another survey to get an idea, because I've been bumping into. Now I'm a Marine, a former Marine sergeant, and I've been bumping into a lot of folks that are military. A lot of Marines, a lot of Army, Navy, you name it.
Just so that you know, I'm actually on that post for you right now, and I'm showing the little video that you have. I'm not playing the audio, but I've got your poll pulled up here.
Nice. Well, so it's what I want folks to know, okay, is a lot of people are connected. A lot of people know military folks. They may have a brother, sister, father, aunt, uncle, somebody that's in the military. But if you really know a military person, we're strong-willed, we're determined, we were trained, we're taught how to fight, we take no pain, we don't understand loss. Like, loss to us is we're dead, and then it don't matter. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then we're not supposed to die anyway, especially in the Marine Corps. You don't die. If I send you out there, don't die. So, like, in our heads. So when I saw that, and you look at that poll, if I do my math on that, it's what 37% right now currently, based on that poll, is military of some form, a
36, yeah,
veteran or
36%.
active duty. 30, yeah, that's to me that's huge. Multiply that. Let's go with the 3.2
Oh, no,
number.
you're right. It
Million
is
that we know is not.
37%. Man, it's too early.
Yeah,
37.
but you look at that, and it just gets me thinking. I'm like, 37% plus of people just in this small little Twitter universe that I'm in are military backed. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, you got United States trained military people that believe in this. I'm digging deeper because my brothers and my sisters are in this. These are fighting apes that don't give up, and they're going to fight it till the bitter end. Like, we're going to fight till the bitter end. And so to me, Citadel, you're screwed, man.
Well,
you got almost half of these fighters are coming at you. You're trained to do this.
well, and I'm going to tell
So
you,
we ain't quitters, and this is easy.
I wasn't military, but my stepfather was in the Army, and I spent a few years in Germany and a lot of time on military bases. My senior year of high school, I got hurt really bad, broke my back, and so I'm good. You know, I'm healthy these days, but you know, I think I was Army bound, and then when I got hurt and the extent of that injury, when I talked to a recruiter, they said, nah, no. At the time, you know, this was back in 1997. They said no, too much of a liability. It was like much longer story than that, but they said no. So, but I will tell you that over the course of the last 15 years of my life, I've had a lot happen that has made me immune to stress, frankly. Right. So, my wife has had 2 brain surgeries. She has had thyroid cancer. I've been back and forth between, you know, UCLA Medical Center, for follow ups and brain surgeries that nearly killed my wife so many times that at this point, the only thing that concerns me is my family and their personal health, and anything else that happens, I'll figure it out. Right. So my 13-year-old was 2 months premature and was 3 pounds when he was born. My 9-year-old was 2 months premature and 3 pounds when he was born for completely different reasons. And as many times as we've been on the brink of absolute financial destruction, as many times as we've been close to losing mom or losing one of our babies, you know, when somebody says, well, what happens if you lose all of this money that you invested? Okay, well, I'll make more. You know, that wouldn't be the end of the world for me. I'll figure it out. But when I see a giant swing, you know, when I see when these little $1 swings that are happening right now that people think are a big deal are $1,000 swings, I'm going to be the one sitting here diamond handing it up because I'm just immune to it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid to lose this money even. But I know I won't. I'm 100% certain that I'm not going to. But even if it did, it wouldn't financially sink us. We'd figure it out. So, all of that to say this.
And that's the other side of it.
If you're out there right now and you're thinking about investing in AMC stock, I do not want you to, you know, take out a mortgage on your house and go do this stuff. I do not want you to spend your grocery money on buying AMC stock.
No.
But
sell that bicycle you ain't using in the garage.
But if you're at the grocery store and you got a choice between Private Selection and Boar's Head, and you know that extra $2 a pound on your meat is what's going to make the difference between you buying a share of stock and not buying a share of AMC stock, buy that Private Selection. You know, don't hurt yourself.
That's right. Amen.
Don't hurt yourself. Don't put yourself out. You know, don't buy it and then have to cash it out next week because you need to make rent. Right? But
yeah, this is not a get rich scheme.
Buy it with money that you have. Buy it with money that you can leave sitting for as long as it takes, because it might be next week. It might be August. I don't know. You know, nobody knows for sure. The stock market's volatile. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe, me personally, my personal opinion is this squeeze is imminent, and when it happens, you're going to wish you had something. And get on it. Get on it as soon as you can. If you can't afford $12, you let me know and I'll buy you a share of stock. I mean it.
That's true.
Buy one.
Did you hear about those guys that were going around in the community to the homeless folks and like getting the free phones and loading them up with an app and then buying them like a couple shares?
That's awesome. No, I didn't hear about
Yo,
that
it
at
was like
all.
the coolest thing. Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, that's awesome, man. You know,
That is
like just
that is
hey, check it
super
out. I'm gonna
cool.
get Yeah, let's get you a free government phone, and then we'll load you up. They use their credit card of some form or cash thing. They bought them 2 or 3 shares on their phone in their name with their account and their socials and stuff. And so there you go. You own 3 shares. Just don't do anything with it, and one day it'll get you off the streets.
That's
Yeah, I thought it was the craziest thing, man. I'm
that's the
like,
coolest
these
thing.
folks out there. That's John. I gotta tell you, man. Just hearing your story too, and the type of person you are. But the stories you see on Twitter, the people you see on Twitter. I mean, it's just so amazing, man. It just melts my heart. I'm a Marine. I don't cry, but damn, there's times I'm in my backyard and my eyes get a little teary thinking about how friggin' awesome this community is. That retail investors would come together like this and want to give back and help the average ape along. It's just amazing, man. I'm just proud to be here.
Well, me too, man. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is a big deal for me. Um, I have made basically Twitter and and YouTube my news source for the past few months. Um, and I don't really pay attention to anything but this kind of stuff now. And it's really fascinating for me to encounter so many people that would have been at each other's throats back in, let's say, November of last year, right? That are
Right. Oh yeah.
that are coming together. They're not even talking about any of that stuff anymore. You know, we're a community, and I think this is what America really should be, right? This should be people
Right.
that can look at each other and say, yeah, we've got some differences, but we have a common goal, right? And I know this is a worldwide thing, but I mean specifically talking about Americans, the reality that we sit at right now, the present time that we currently enjoy right now. I can look across the table of somebody of any race, of any political background, of anything, and say, hey, we got this in common, and we can have a conversation about it. And we don't focus on the things that divide us, but what unites us. And what's got a whole lot of millions of people united right now is a movement of AMC retail investor shareholders that
Yeah, they'd be
have
hugging.
have
They'd all be
teamed up.
hugging.
We've
You
teamed
know,
up to beat the big guy, to beat the man, literally at this point, to beat the man.
literally. That's right.
So
Hey, brother, I am running down on time.
that's
It's
okay.
almost that time. I'm gonna have to. I'd love to do this again, though. This is freaking awesome,
We
man. Just feeding
absolutely
off of
should,
you, and
man. It's been really good talking to you.
yeah. And let me know, man. We'll get this out there. I've got a crew. If you want to get in, I have a group on Twitter. If you want, I can add you to it. A bunch of creative guys and
Yeah, that'd be
gals in
great.
there. They'll be chatting the DMs.
That would be great. Let's
Meet
do it.
some of them.
Let's do it.
Sweet, brother. All right, we'll
All
talk
right,
soon.
my friend. It was really good to talk to you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Talk to you soon.
My Marine out.
All right, brother. Bye.
Had to use my tagline, man. Everybody's got a tagline,
You
right?
got to have one.
All right. Thanks, brother.
All right, have a good one.
All right. Bye.
And this is what I'm talking about, folks. Just the passion that people have. And this is I know this is my first video, first of many to come. And they're not all going to be about AMC stock. I started here because this is the most exciting thing in the world to me right now. But passion is what does it for me, right? And anybody that's really excited about anything, those are the people that I want to talk to right now. Those are the people that I want to learn from right now. Those are the people that I want to help to give a platform to have a conversation about whatever it is that excites them. So it was really good to be with you today. If you're watching this video, I would appreciate a like. I would appreciate it if you subscribed. But I'm not in this to make money, so I don't really care what you do. But would love to have you. Would love to talk to you again if you'd like to see me. Like to see us. Like to get together. Ape Army Strong, folks. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.